Bill, how do you gauge West Virginia's season to date so far? They've had some tough losses, but also their last home game, they beat Texas.
Yeah, I'm going to gauge it on since they've had their full complement of guys, and they still haven't had it because of Edwards has been, hurt. But, I think getting those guys eligible and then, if Edwards is able to go, I mean, he's a legitimate, top 5 big man in the country, potentially. So it's hard to gauge in large part because they haven't had their full cast of guys. And certainly when they do have all their players, they'll be very formidable for anybody. But you take away, them playing without guys that are capable combined to get you 40 points a game, that's obviously, it looks a lot different.
We passed the halfway point in the stretch of 5 games that you're playing that comes soon on Monday. Just how do you think the team's doing stamina-wise going through all these games in rapid succession?
I think we're doing fine. Knock on wood, I actually think we got a pretty well-conditioned group. I think it's easier to play turned up for 40 minutes if you can maybe get a little bit more rest than what our guys have. But I don't see KJ slowing down much, and we were able to play Hunter 30 minutes the other day, and it felt like he hardly played, compared to what it has been. So the one I would be the most concerned about, the two, would be Hunter and Juan. And the other guys, I really don't have much of a concern for that.
Obviously, we're all here. We watched the team and KJ changing roles. If you were to describe what's different about what you're asking of him this year compared to last year to someone that hasn't watched you all season, how would you do that?
Well, he's are you just talking about just with KJ?
Yeah.
Well, last year we switched 5, so it's not a lot different for him now. We're switching 4. He guarded the other team's post guy a lot. He was a trapper when the ball went to the post, which he's not doing now. But we switched so much, it created situations where he trapped quite a bit. And the biggest thing is, I don't remember us ever telling him, if you get a rebound, bring it. I don't remember him ever leading us in transition. He probably did a few times, but not often. I think he's much more active on the defensive board here the last month than what he ever was last year, which seems kind of strange. Last year he's more concerned with just not letting the 5-man get the rebound. This year he's more concerned about going and getting the ball. And I just think his perimeter game, his shooting, and you guys saw that the other night. His passing, playmaking is just a lot better than what it was. But we're still trying to do similar things to get him the ball like we did last year on short rolls and stuff like that.
And changing position like that too, where you go from being a small ball 5 to playing the 4 now. Have you had many players that you've asked to do something similar to that?
I think we're reading more into it. Players are players. I think it is an adjustment, but I don't think it's going from being a 3-man to a point guard type adjustment. He's always played on the perimeter his entire life until last year, and then we asked him to be the 5-man. So I can't remember us I don't think we told Withy to go from playing inside to outside or anything like that, but or Cole Aldridge or some of those guys. But I don't think he's doing a lot of things different than what Shady did. I don't think he's doing a lot except he's just predominantly playing on the floor more, where those guys probably posted more.
Bill, the term core 4 was used so much earlier in the year. And of course, that I can't remember when that's been a term used for your guys, because it was always a bigger number when it was used. But now with Furf and what he did, a lot of people are thinking now expanding that to 5s. Just in your mind, and you've seen Johnny in practice, so maybe that was never part of what you were thinking, but of being able to expand the 4 to 5 as far as people that can really produce.
I actually think I'll be honest, I don't follow you guys close enough. I never heard of Core 4 before.
Really?
So you guys are on the internet more than I am. But I think your point's right. It's right on point. I feel like we found our fifth starter, and that's not a knock to Marco, but if Marco's role, I think, will be better off the bench than what it was as a starter, and I think Johnny's role will be better as a starter than what it was off the bench. I'm excited about him. It's not that he's going to do anything spectacular, although he can, especially in transition and offensive rebound. It's the other guys feel comfortable playing with him, and I think they play better with him in the game. So from that standpoint, makes Kevin probably more of a primary handler than what he was before, probably more as a secondary handler. But I think the guys have liked it, and I've said this many times. He's very, very bright. He picks stuff up quick, and he scored 15 points the other day, all off of basketball, easy plays. If you're open, you shoot it. If you're not, you pass it. And then he gets the ball, there in the corner, and he hadn't scored the entire second half, catches the ball in the corner and just feeds a post perfectly and gives Hunt a layup. I mean, he can just do some things that just come natural to him, in large part because, I don't know that he's 6'9", but I never thought he was. But God, he looks tall out there, and he can see over defense. He's got long arms, and he can just make some plays you can't coach. That defensive rebound he got in the first half, I don't know if you guys remember, where he kind of kept tipping it to himself. That was impressive. And in the offensive rebound he got where he made his first three in the corner, or maybe that was his second three. I mean, those are impressive plays that are, 40, 60 balls, and you come up with them. And giving us some extra possessions like that's pretty important for a team that has labored, some offensively, obviously.
Does West Virginia still pressure like they did under Huggs?
I don't know that they do it as much, but they will for sure. They'll press. They pressed OU. But I don't know that they'll do it as much as what they did when Huggs was there.
Will it seem strange not seeing him there?
Well, maybe I will. I mean, who knows? I guarantee Josh will be better dressed, no doubt, and look better even if they wear the same thing. I'm a fan. I really want him to be remembered and thought of in the way that he's provided a great legacy to our profession, and wish the best for him. But that's not saying I wish it at the expense of anybody else either, though. So I think Josh has done a good job in a hard situation. That's not easy, and then you throw off. I haven't had my 2 or 3 starters for the entire season at least. I mean, that's a hard deal. So, it'll be different, but it's not going to be something that I think about a lot.
Are you encouraged by the turnover count in the last few games?
Yeah. I actually looked that up this morning, Gary, knowing you'd ask that exact question. We've had 3 games this year where we've had 18. You go back and you think about it over time, that would be very low for us to have our highest turnover games only be 18, if you go back and look at it over time. The thing about it is, obviously one of them cost us a game, and one of them we were fortunate that we won a game when we had 18. The other one was Marquette, and they beat us handily. Obviously, if you look at our performances, there's definitely a correlation between taking care of the ball and us playing better. The thing about it is, the last 3 games, and even at Oklahoma State, I mean, we had some turnovers there that I would say late game situation, stuff like that, when the score was what it was. That was an 8 or 9 turnover game, which you keep it under 10 on the road, that's pretty good. West Virginia will be a challenge because they've always turned us over, but they turned everybody over. And the question is, do you benefit more against their pressure by them pressuring, or do you allow them to benefit more by them pressuring? I mean, you gotta take advantage of pressure, and in order to do that, you have to be aggressive. When you're aggressive, you take more chances. When you take more chances, you turn over more. So sometimes you gotta, you gotta say, okay, we shot 5 layups and we've had 3 bad turnovers. Okay, keep attacking. Sometimes it's like that. But I am encouraged that we've handled the ball better. Yes.
You've been complimentary would be a good word for it, I think, of Nick Timberlake and just attitude, approaches.
Yeah,
He's kind of
he's
trying to
great
find
kid.
himself. What do you think it is? Is it just experience, age, maturity? Why has he been able to handle this?
Well, he didn't come here not to play, and he hasn't played much. He's played a lot by first-year player standards, but not by a fifth year, a grad transfer type standards. So he's just a great kid, got a great attitude, and he did really well the other day. And as you guys saw, he's an athlete. He's a sneaky athlete, and he jumps far better off his right than his left. I mean, that was a big time play the other day. But he's got to stay ready, because at the end of the day, a team goes zone or whatever, we're going to need somebody that can stretch the defense and have in the game and be a threat. So he'll stay ready, because he's a fabulous young man and a great kid. But it's not the role that he had envisioned, nor is it the role that I had envisioned. So it's not like I'm thinking we tell him this, but we know it'll be that. There's nothing like that. It just hasn't quite gone smoothly for him yet. But if he keeps a good attitude, which he will, and when his number is called, he will deliver. And you see that all the time in sports, all the time. And so much of it is just the preparation to that moment. And I think he'll prepare to be ready, all the way through to the end.
We're talking about a West Virginia team that has several losses, but also big ranked win over Texas a couple weeks ago. Can you just talk a little bit about how unpredictable Big 12 is right now?
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Central Florida won at Texas last night, and Adams had made a couple of shots late, to keep it really close, if I'm not mistaken, because I didn't watch the game. It's a wild league. I can't get over how competitive it is. When Cincinnati and BYU came into the league, we knew what we were going to get with Houston, and Houston will deliver on what we thought they were. I don't know that we really banked on getting what BYU and Cincinnati bring to the table this early in the process. And UCF, here we are going to talk, UCF hasn't played consistently at the level of the other three. They're good enough to beat Kansas and Texas. So it is a wild league. And then you get, K-State had a huge win the other night. You get, Tech got off to a 3-0 start. It's just, it's going to be crazy the whole year. And what we perceive going into the year as being, okay, we can catch our breath now, has been taken away. There's no breath-catching weeks. It's going to be like this for, all 9 weeks? Is it 9 weeks or 10 weeks? I guess 9.5 weeks counting the bye weeks. So it's going to be like that the entire year.
Anything else? Thanks, Coach.
All right, guys.